Hey YouTube, my name is Tribal Instincts, and today I am walking you through how I created my green screen setup. I was contacted this morning, kind of oddly, by two separate people. One of them is the Twitch streamer V Parlez-Fois, and also the legendary Draw with Jazai. They both messaged me separately, almost within an hour of each other, asking me how I put this all together. So I figured I'd stop being lazy and walk you guys through, as much as I can, the construction process, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, kind of what I would do differently if I had the choice again. So this is how I put together my green screen setup. All right, so let's start with the grand tour. We have lots and lots and lots of green screen. We have lots and lots and lots of lighting. Lighting over there, lighting on the ceiling, lots of lighting. Those sheets that are around it, that's to help diffuse the lighting. Some more lighting over here. And then a really big light right there. And me, hello. This light is bright. Nice. All right, so let's talk about the actual construction of it first. I had meant to record like sort of a making of whenever I was doing it, but then I just got distracted and everything was going so fast and I completely forgot to do it. I did get some pictures though of the different phases of it, but just going into this, let me talk about like sort of what's behind the green screen here and why I did it. All right, so let's take a look behind the green screen. Behind the green screen is canvas. This is a really, well, it's like 3 or 4 big sheets of canvas that I'm using as sort of a backdrop for my backdrop. This canvas is used for 2 primary purposes. One of them is to get a uniform color across the entire background. Instead of this nasty red weird paint job that was here before I even moved in, I have a solid uniform canvas color. So that works for that. The second reason, and you can't see it from the video, so I'll post a picture up. I have a window over here that has, you know, like a windowsill that pokes out a bit, and it was visible through the initial green screen setup that I had. So the canvas here, it does 2 things. One, like I said, it keeps the color uniform, and then also it allows me to have a flat surface to keep this green screen as smooth as I possibly can. Without having to try to stretch the actual green screen itself. You can't tell from this particular angle because over here it's kind of loose, but this green screen, or the canvas, is taut. It was stretched pretty much like you would have for like a canvas that you'd use to paint on. I went through and I stretched this all. The only way I was able to stretch that canvas is by doing some construction. Yup, that's my handiwork. So behind here, I have a couple pieces of wood nailed to another piece of wood that stretches across the entire side of it, and I have stapled the canvas, and I won't be able to show you guys, I'm sorry. I have stapled the green screen, I've stapled the canvas to that wood across the entire way, and while I was stapling it, I was stretching it the whole time, and then this green screen is basically just taped on the very top. I used some 3M tape on the very top lip up here to attach the green screen to the canvas, and then I just kind of laid it down pretty gently. The green screen, if you try stretching it too much, 1, it gets thin, and 2, it kind of deforms over time. So instead of stretching the green screen, I stretched the canvas and laid the green screen over on top of it nice and gently. All right, and here we have the green screen application. I am incredibly happy with how this has worked so far. I got a bunch of this 3M tape and I've put it along the entire top side of these boards that I've put up. And now the green screen is just coming onto this perfectly. I can pull this incredibly tight right here and it's not gonna move an inch. So this has worked great. I'm excited. Now here we get to the point where I talk about sort of what I learned, what I like and what I don't like, specifically what I don't like. I had the theory at first that I was going to tape it alongside the bottom in order to keep it just a little bit from, well, I don't really know what I was thinking. I was trying to keep it nice and steady and keep it from moving around, so I put some tape along the bottom, but ultimately that just made it bunch up more, and it really didn't accomplish what I was wanting. So if I were to do it again, I wouldn't try doing that, and it's kind of unrecoverable now. But yeah, so I wouldn't recommend doing that. Just lay it down, let it lay gently, and that's probably going to be the best thing for it. Whenever I say best thing for it, I mean for cloth. There are obviously much better ways of having a professional green screen. This is not for you professionals, okay? This is for the people that are trying to do this on somewhat of a budget. You'll also notice that this isn't one solid sheet of green screen. You can tell very clearly that there's an imperfection here. This is whenever I cut a green screen, just because I didn't want it bunching up crazily on the end. And then I used some 3M tape all the way up and down it. And you'd say this looks horrible, but you really can't tell whenever you key it out. Like, none of this comes through. It takes a pretty big effect for the green screen to not key out correctly. For example, this down here, that's bad. That is horrible. Good thing I don't actually ever really record over here that much. Otherwise, I'd probably have to fix that. Over there, I record, and that right there, that's not too great. But it really doesn't come up too much. The worst thing for a green screen is shadows. Shadows are the death of any proper keying. The reason is because the camera doesn't know the difference between a shadow and not a shadow. All it sees is green and then a darker green. And if you're trying to color out this green, it doesn't know to color out that one. It thinks that that's something entirely different. So whenever you're going through your green screen, look from the camera's perspective and try to figure out anything that has a shadow. For example, this right here, there's shadows all over it. However, my camera is usually set up way over that way, and it doesn't see the shadow, it just sees the green. Down here, however, there usually is like a shadow that bunches up right here, and it sees it perfectly. That causes me, this little area right here causes me more problems than anything else. And this was the hardest piece to get right. Like, there's a pretty gentle slope. You can't really tell here, but there's a pretty gentle slope that goes from one side to the other. So I'm proud of that. However, down here, whenever I have to actually fold it up, that's hard. If I knew how to sew or something, I'd probably be able to do this better. But as it is, this is pretty much okay. I don't really have too much problem with this as long as I keep it in mind as I'm recording. And before I actually go and shoot, I go and I smooth out these corners. The topic of shadows, the best way of getting rid of a shadow is by adding lots and lots of light. And it can't just be light anywhere. You can't just have like a battery of light arrays on one side of you. It needs to be somewhat well spaced. Now, my setup is not the picture of perfect, okay? Not by a long shot, but I think I did a pretty decent job. On each of the sides of the green screen, I have a light panel here that's shining light directly at the green screen. So it's usually behind me, so I'm not casting my own body as a shadow. And I also have lights above it, which is pretty much giving just a overall just light in the entire room. Like you see, I have lights on that side as well. And then finally, I have one big one for facing me. So whenever I actually go into record, unless I'm standing, here, let me show you. Unless I'm standing close to, like right about here, there is no shadow. The closer I move away from it, I mean, there's somewhat of a shadow, but it's not enough for the keying for it to take effect. So unless I'm like right here, does it actually become an issue where the shadow that I cast is an issue. So trying to get as much light on the background as possible is absolutely crucial. You want as much light as you can back there. You want light coming in from pretty much all sources while making sure that the background is completely lit and you are solidly lit, so there's a good distinction between, you know, the end of you and the start of the green screen. Yep, that's pretty much it. There's really not too much to know about green screens. It's just keeping all the colors even. It is reducing shadows. It is making sure that there is a lot of light on the background and then light on you so that there's a good distinction between you and the background. As long as you master those basics, then there really isn't too much else to learn. Light placement, that one's hard. I don't even have it correctly. Like you'll see on my background, the lighting is not perfect, right? There is a shadow spot in the area. There's light up there. So eventually I'll add some more light to try to completely even this out. But still, I mean, it's not bad for, you know, for just a guy in his above garage bonus room, just trying to make some videos. So this is more than enough for a above average quality green screen, not quite to the professional level, but this is more than enough for most YouTube videos. So guys, if you have any questions on how I did this, on any of the process that went into going into making this, I'm happy to let you know. I'll drop descriptions in the links below. I'll drop links in the description below for all the different products that I use here. And yeah, guys, let me know if you have any questions. I'm happy to answer any questions about how to get this done, because as I have said many times, my goal is to get as many people up and running on doing mixed reality and other just fun things, because this entire process is incredibly enjoyable. It's so creative. It's just something that I don't normally get to do in my more mundane real life stuff. So I'm glad to help out and help other people get to the same spot. So guys, thanks for watching. If you want to see more of these videos, hit the like button below. Tell me that you like them. If you don't like it, hit the downvote button and tell me what I can do to make them better. And if you want to see more, hit subscribe and the bell icon, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.